All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Talk about yesterday's NBA lineup and yeah, uh, Jamal Murray and Denver came out on top, but it was the Joker who propelled Denver to the win yesterday. But first, let's talk about Toronto and if they missing, Kawhi Leonard right now. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, check out our NBA Talk playlist. But yeah, I mean, Toronto in trouble. They came out a little bit more energy, had to lead a few times yesterday. And Boston just too much for him. You know what I'm saying? Even without Gordon Hayward, even without a strong guy at center, they really not playing Enes Kanter a lot. They going with Tyson. They going with that young dude they drafted from, I think, from Texas A&M a few years ago. And they, right now, Toronto can't expose their strength and Boston's weakness. And what they need to expose is, maybe Marcus All too old to get it on the block and post up because they got nobody that can hold Marcus All. And Ibaka don't want to post up. He learned how to shoot threes before he learned how to do a drop step. And Toronto is over with for him. Unless some injury happened, Tatum, Brown, and then Kemba Walker didn't score for a while yesterday. And then he closed the game out doing what he do. Just too much. Toronto in trouble. They getting exposed. Pascal is not Kawhi Leonard. OG played good last night, and Kyle Lowry, and I think he was dealing with an injury or whatever. But right now, Boston a better team, and what happened in the seeding games, it wasn't no fluke. It wasn't no fluke. What happened in those seeding games, in that seeding game they played, where Boston blew the doors off of them, that's what the real thing seemed to be. And I expect Toronto to go home in four. Siakam showing that he ain't took that next step yet. And obviously, you don't take all those steps at once. He was good last year with Kawhi, learned from Kawhi, then he took another step to an all-star. You talking about Kawhi really, probably the best player in the league when you talk about both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about showing up in the playoffs and showing up in big moments, and you talk about just well-rounded game, Kawhi the best. Nobody want to say it. You could get Giannis the MVP, but Giannis ain't showed up and got to the championship yet. LeBron don't play no defense no more. He can't score. He don't have no killer in him. Kawhi is a deadly killer. And that's gonna be one of the reasons that, he is the best player right now all the way around. You know what I'm saying? He a two-way player. He show up in big moments, and he healthy, unlike Kevin Durant right now. So, Siakam is seeing that there's levels to this, and he got to keep working. And Rome wasn't built in a day, and he's made great leaps and bounds. But if you Toronto, you know what I'm saying? Do you think about not trading Pascal Siakam, for Russell Westbrook and Paul George or whatever that deal was? They should have did that deal. If that meant keeping Kawhi Leonard in Toronto, and people said, well, Russell Westbrook probably wouldn't have worked. He probably would have dragged them niggas down. He probably would have dragged them down. But right now, they should have did whatever they had to do to keep Kawhi there. And maybe Toronto financially couldn't really carry the burden of carrying those contracts. But, then again, you probably had a situation where, you probably could eventually flip Russell Westbrook for something else. But, at the end of the day, Toronto finished. You know what I'm saying? And now they got a lot of free agents. They got Fred Van Fleet, that's a free agent. They got Serge Ibaka, who a free agent. Marcus Gasol, a free agent. He might be a nice little stop plug for the Dallas Mavericks, who need somebody in the middle that can defend the paint a little bit. They in the transition phase. Kyle Lowry, I think he got one more year left. So Toronto is in a transition mode. But the great thing about it, Masai Ujiri is a great general manager. They'll find some great international talent at the end of the draft, but they done. Unless an injury happen, they done. There's nothing else they can do. Nothing else they can do. They done. They just a bad matchup, and, they can play through Marcus Gasol on the block. That's the only guy they can play through on the block, because Serge Ibaka don't know how to post up. So, yeah, Boston going. You might see a situation where we see Boston, Miami, and to be honest, neither one of them could fuck whoever come out the West. even if Denver came out the West, that'd be their best possible matchup. Because we know OKC and Houston ain't coming out. If you're talking about a competitive finals, in Miami or Boston come out, you gotta hope that Oklahoma City, Houston, and you gotta hope that or Denver come out the West. If it's anything but those three teams, if it's the Lakers or if it's the Clippers that come out the West, Miami and those other teams, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. So, it is what it is on that point. Toronto got a lot of rebuilding to do, and now they're going to look at a situation where the only two players they probably deem untouchable is Pascal and OG. You know what I'm saying? They backcourt too small. That's getting exposed to serious. And that's been a problem. Kawhi covered up a lot of deficiencies. Pascal, he getting locked up because they got two of the best wing defenders, what they call in the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard of the East, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And then they don't got enough in the middle to expose, the weaknesses of the Boston Celtics in the middle. So, like I said, Toronto done. You know what I'm saying? They might as well pack their bags. Fred VanVleet can pack his bags and be with his kids and get ready for free agency. Now, last night, we had a tremendous Game 7 where the refs let the boys play. Slam, dun 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 dun. Let the boys be boys. Niggas don't know about Onyx, man, young guys. But they let the men be men last night. They let them play physical brand of basketball. You wanna know why they let so many free throws happen or they get these touch fouls? Because if they play organic basketball, this was the score looked like. Well, it was 80 something to 78 or whatever. And that's what people want to see. People want to see manly basketball. They want to see physical basketball. They want to see the referees ref the rest of the bubble and the rest of the NBA like they ref the game yesterday. They let them play D. They let them play in the Game 7. The way they ref the Game 7 should be the way they ref every game moving forward. That's the way they should ref the game, man. And, yesterday, Jamal Murray or Donovan Mitchell really didn't go off like they've been going off the whole series, 57, 40-something points, 50 points. They didn't go off like that. And pretty much Mike Conley let Utah down. He was a, big disappointment to Utah this season. He had some good stretches down the end of the regular season. And then he had some good games in the receding games, but he didn't show up. And last night he could have made up for it and made that three and sent Denver home, but he didn't. But basically, Jokic showed up. He was letting Rudy Gobert dog him the whole series for the most part. Athletic centers bother Jokic. I'm a Piston fan. I watch, Andre Drummond get the best of Jokic on the offensive end a lot of the time. So he lost all that weight, and he still don't have that explosiveness, and that's just because that's just not in his genetics, But yesterday he showed that, what, I can use my craftiness and my body to get shots off, and he got in the rhythm, and pretty much Jamal Murray brought him to the end of the road. Jokic closed it out, and that's what you want to see. And, Donovan Mitchell can't wait to get out of Utah. I can tell you that right now. He just can't wait to get out of there. He gave it his all, but Utah just don't got enough help. They got rid of Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic got injured, and then Joe Ingles ain't do nothing. I mean, he really didn't have no help. You know what I'm saying? Like that team overachieved. And that just let you know how great of a player he is. You know what I'm saying? And remember, some of the games they didn't have Mike Conley. He went to go see his child get born, and without Donovan Mitchell, that Utah Jazz team not a playoff team. That just lets you know how good Donovan Mitchell is. He's able to improve everybody on this team. He make everybody on Utah better. Rudy Gobert, he don't give you nothing offensively for real, but putbacks and stuff of that nature. And, I think their relationship still severed, and I think he can't wait to get out of there. So, hopefully they can trade him out of there now, and, we can see him play somewhere else, and people in Utah get mad, but only people staying in Utah are Stockton and Malone. You know what I'm saying? That's because they had great success when Malone ended up leaving and went to the Los Angeles Lakers. So, I mean, last night it was a good game. Good defensive game. Wasn't a high offensive scoring game. That's because the refs let the guys play in the Game 7. And that's how it should be. And, Joker came up big. Donovan Mitchell closed the gap down the stretch. But, obviously Denver got it off the board. This shows you how, they need to go over that play. If we ever get in a situation where, We down to 9, 8, 10 seconds, whatever it was. We get the board and you push the ball, pull that motherfucker back out and let them foul us and let's make the free throws. And I know what Murray was thinking. Let's go down there, push the ball, get an easy layup. Jeremy Grant missed the easy layup. But then again, you open it up where they get the ball, shoot a three, and it's just you just pull it out. You run around the court until they foul. You run a timeout, make the free throws. They don't have a timeout. They can't advance it to half court. So you probably looking at 4 or 3 seconds left. You up 3 or 4 at the most. You know what I'm saying? And if Mike Conley do shoot the three and they go in, at least you go into overtime. So that just lets you know a little bit of a younger team that doesn't know how to manage the basketball game. And that's the issue. Right now, if I'm Mike Malone, the first practice or video session back, which is today because they play tomorrow, first the Clippers, we going over that situation. All players should know how many fouls to give, how many timeouts the other team got. That's the first thing they should be screaming in those huddles. Fouls to give, timeouts the other team got, timeouts we got. And right now, Denver almost made a deadly mistake of not making it to the Western Conference semifinals with an idiotic move. But yeah, Toronto going home. I think Denver is a great matchup for them, for the Clippers. Well, if Paul George don't play, and shout out to Gary Harris who made the play, on Donovan Mitchell. That was a great play Gary Harris made, stripping him from behind, and that's why he matters. And they also missing Will Barton, and it's hurting them, missing that guy. But Gary Harris took on the challenge of guarding Donovan Mitchell, and he stopped that. He stopped him. You got to give Gary Harris credit. So they got a good matchup versus the Clippers. If Gary Harris can get them something offensively, which he struggled this year offensively, they can find some way to get something out of Michael Porter. With Paul George playing the way he playing, Jokic going to dominate the paint. They don't have an answer for him. If Jamal Murray do good, if Patrick Beverly is out there, then, that might be a problem. But he ain't 100%. So, unless they're going to put Paul George on Jamal Murray or Kawhi Leonard, which they didn't really guard Luka like that because the way they was calling the game. Jamal Murray should have a good series. Jokic should have a good series. They're going to be in it. It's probably be a 6-game series, maybe even 7. They'd be in it. But I think the Clippers come away with it. But the Clippers would have probably preferred to play the Jazz. That would have been the sweep 4-0. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing videos. Want to make a donation? Cash App, CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Appreciate the love, support. Don't forget to check out our NBA Talk playlist. And don't forget to check my other channel out, Motor City Sports Talk, right here on YouTube. One time for the one time we go.